we're going to show you guys a flare tool that you can use to make a perfect flare every single time, which means you don't have to worry about bad flares and cutting off more and more parts of your brake line. And this is what they look like. No scratches, perfectly round, looks the same every single time. It's actually from a company called Eastwood over in the US, and we ordered it from them to my mom's house, who lives in the US, and she sent it over to us. Thanks, Mom. So it comes with 4 dies, a 3/16, a 1/4 inch, 5/16, and 3/8. They're all 45-degree dies. Alright, so we have our 1/4 inch in here, which we're using for our brake lines because they're all 1/4 inch. Well, they used to be 6 mil, but we went to 1/4 inch just because it's so much easier to find, a very standard size. And our brake lines looked a bit like this. So everywhere, as you can see, it's not looking very good. So eventually they were going to have to be replaced anyway, so instead of going back to 6mm, we went with 1/4 inch. And we tested one of those standard flaring tools first, the ones that you screw together, like the clamp, and then you screw the thing on top. We'll blend in a picture. And it just didn't, because these are steel brake lines, it just didn't flare properly all the time. We'll show you a quick example of what it looks like. Alright, so pretty much this is what the flare from the other tool looked like. So as you can see, it has a bunch of teeth marks from the clamp actually holding it. And if you look at this thing, when I rotate it, you'll see it's actually skewed off sideways, which is what you definitely don't want. And yeah, there's the 2 clamp marks here that just cut everything up, and yeah, it looks really nasty, not very good. Yeah, so we weren't happy with the quality of the other flaring tool, so we decided to go for something like this because we've heard some good stuff about it. So yeah, we pretty much ordered it. It wasn't actually as expensive as we thought it would be, especially because my mom paid the shipping. Thanks again, Mom! And yeah, pretty much for about maybe 150, 200 Australian dollars more, you can get a proper one like this, and it works so much better. So with a new tool, you'll make a good flare every single time. Alright, let's get into it. So, pretty much start it off. Handle comes out for storage, put it back in. Undo this, take off the top die part. Make sure you put on your fitting before, or else you'll have a problem afterwards. Yeah, so you stick your tube in there, put your top die back in, make sure you put it in the right direction. Close it down, let it stick out a bit on this side, you'll see why. Clamp it down, don't go too tight on the first one because we're going to rotate, this thing rotates here, this is where all your flares are going to happen. So you start off with OP0, operation 0, which is why you leave this a bit loose, because this is going to press it into the right position. So it's actually too tight already. So there, that'll bottom out on the die. Now you can remove, go back, and now clamp it down tight. Alright, now we're going to go to 1/4 inch. Operation 1, which is going to put in the bubble first, and once it's ready, you can put some cutting fluid on there if you're doing a lot of these, which we are, so put some on, and then you just move the lever, push until it bottoms. There you go, bottomed out. Come back. Now you're going to go to operation 2, which is going to do the double flare and get rid of the bubble. Same process, pretty much. You just turn that one step further, and now you go back in, and same thing until you pretty much feel it bottom out, about right there. Alright, release, and now we can undo everything and check it out. Alright, now just undo your clamp again, put your die, There you go. Once that's loose, pull the pin, open this up, top die out. There's your flare. So here's our two flares. This is the difference. You can see how this one's completely off while this one's perfectly round. And these flares look like this every single time. It doesn't change at all. Also, you can see there's no like scratches or anything on this side from the clamp, whereas that's completely scratched and messed up. So don't have to worry about this rusting again, whereas this, if we would have done this the whole time, eventually this is the first thing that's going to rust, especially with brake fluid because it's pretty nasty stuff. Whereas this is going to be protected the whole time, and as you can see, perfect flare every single time. Since we're redoing all our brake lines, which means we're doing about 40 or something flares, we went with this tool just because it's so much better. You don't have to worry about creating a flare that might not work perfectly or might not seal. If you're only doing one or two, you might get away with those clamp type ones that I'm so over them. We tried to do it with those at first and it was just such a pain. So we went with this and it's so much easier, so much quicker. You literally just go lever 1, twist, lever 2, and the flare is done. And it's perfect every single time. So if you're doing lots of flares, highly recommend this tool.